Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
Oh, I looked at...
Claire, I was born and raised on the streets.
By a Ratchet?
I know these streets. Welcome back to the house that Claire built, another fine edition of the Claire-Vs-Carlson Show. There are many things you can put in your ears. This is one of them. Part of the Late Night Sports Radio Network, latenightsportsradio.com. She is Claire. I am so sad that my team did not pick Anthony Barr number one at the Claire Bear 23 NFL Female Podcast. That is very sad, isn't it?
You're relentless.
Anthony Barr. And I'm Andy Carlson at Andy Carlson Show on the Twitter machine, Purple for the Win, football convos, all that other good stuff. I got more shows than, I don't know, insert something witty here. We can be found at Claire-Vs-Carlson on the Twitter machine, YouTube, Facebook, and on iTunes under Late Night Sports Radio. Hi, Claire. How's it going?
Hi, Andy. How are you?
I am fantastic because we have a ton of stuff to slam into our 1 hour. This is your Friday late night happy hour. We're kind of like Applebees, except we don't have $1 off taps and rails and half price appetizers. So not quite as good, but then again, it is kind of. You know what I mean?
Kind of.
I mean, beer is beer and rails are rails, but then it's Applebee's.
Exactly. Applebee's is not a place of higher cuisine levels. Yeah, it's just not.
And we are brought to you by our title sponsor, TGI Fridays. Better than Applebee's. Get some. Eating good in the neighborhood. Wait, no, that's Applebee's. All right, we're going to get sued by Applebee's. That will be the tagline of the show. We have a lot of stuff to get to. College football Final Four is set. Mariota is going to walk away with the Heisman. We'll talk about bowl matchups, what these kids are getting in their goodie bags. Also, NFL. There's never a shortage of news in the NFL. Cam Newton, clown shoes, Manziel, Aaron Kromer, Yee Gon. Washington is a hot mess, and Jaguar fans are jerk faces. And then our last segment, bringing up the rear, we're going to talk about players in the NFL who should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame or should not be. I don't know. We'll see when we get there, as well as Week 14 recap picks, and we'll make our Week 15 locks as well. But, Claire, how was your week? Apparently you were in Jerry's Metroplex this week, right?
Yeah, I had to kick it up in North Texas, and that's always a bummer.
Oh, why?
It's not a very pretty place. The traffic is horrendous. It's worse than Houston. And there's a lot of weird, pretentious-y sort of people. There's, some fine people who live up there, but for the most part, they're just not down to earth on the whole.
Well, that's Dallas.
Well, Dallas is not.
They had a whole TV show made of them. There's no show called Houston.
That's because we're not salacious people who like to shoot each other.
Oh, I'm going to call me a proxy meeting and finally take over you and oil. Did you watch that show back in the day? Well, that had to come out when you were like 4, right?
My mom used to watch it. I don't recall ever watching it.
Well, they tried to do a reboot of it on TNT. I don't think that really flew, though.
Well, it's stupid. I get tired of everything that comes out. Like 9 out of 10 things that come out are reboots of something else. And it's just stupid. Get some new ideas or don't do anything. Tired of the same old crap over and over and over again. That's why I don't watch movies. That's why you are the pop culture king, and I don't care.
Well, what was the last movie that you saw in theaters?
Oh, I actually went and saw Gone Girl.
Oh, well, there's an original adapted from the novel, so at least that's not a reboot. But there will be a reboot in 10 years.
Yeah, and I always go see movies or watch shows that are based upon books that I have read. So there you have it. That's
all right, well, what's on Claire's nightstand right now? Book-wise.
I don't have time to read anymore. I just don't.
No. Well,
sorry.
I wanted to clarify books because I didn't want you to bring up something else or, I don't know, your retainer or something.
Oh, well, I have a stapler and a fax machine, an e-cigarette, some nail polish, and I think that's about it.
Wait.
Ice cream.
So not to put your news out in the street, but I'm going to put your news on the street, but you're vaping. I thought you gave it up.
No, I gave up cigarettes for the e-cigarettes, but I'm starting off with the lowest nicotine juice.
Mm.
So, which means I took a big drop in the amount of nicotine I take in per day, which means I really want to kill someone all the time. And when Andy likes to torture me, I just kind of want to go fly to Minnesota and snap his little head off his little neck.
So this is going to be a fun show since Claire is on edge. And how do you celebrate afterward? Well, what's your touchdown dance now after you hang out with a young gentleman? What's your you lost your end zone dance?
I don't know, man. I guess we're going to find out one of these days.
All right, something that we found out is who was in the college football Final Four that was announced this week, and it pretty much went to chalk. Number 1 Alabama versus number 4 Ohio State in the Sugar Bowl down in New Orleans. Ohio State gets in on the strength of Cardell Jones playing pretty well in the 59-0 ass whipping of Wisconsin, which was beautiful, which was gorgeous to me because I'm not that big of a Gophers fan. I'm kind of by default and proxy, but Badgers fans are equally as annoying as Packer fans because they're usually the same people. So I love it when Wisconsin gets ass hammered like that. And then Gary Peterson or Gary Anderson, whatever his name is, Yee Gon.
Anderson.
Yeah, whatever. Number 2 Oregon versus number 3 Florida State in the Rose Bowl. I think it shook out perfectly, mostly because I think the committee wanted to keep Alabama in the South and keep Oregon in the Rose Bowl. It's funny how that worked out like that. Actually, to go full conspiracy, I think they would have gone Oregon, Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. You have the whole Pac-12 Big Ten Rose Bowl like it used to be, tradition. And then Alabama and Florida State, that both those fan bases would have jam-packed the Sugar Bowl, even though Ohio State's fans travel well. Both those games going on January 1st, championship game in Jerry World, January 12th. So the main question, Claire, did they get it right?
Yeah, I don't think you can really argue with who the best teams were. There were a few other teams that didn't make it. And I don't know, it's kind of like, what was the analogy that I heard? Musical chairs. Say there are 5, 6, 7 guys running around trying to get to the chairs and the music stops and 4 of them sit and the rest of them are closed, but they're not there. So it stinks for the schools that Baylor nor TCU got in and there is no representative from the Big 12 because the Big 12 slogan is one true champion, and they had co-champions this year, which ironic, but it's very Big 12-ish. So, what else? Later, guys.
Bye,
Should be
Felicia.
good matchup. So, yeah, pretty much. Bye, Felicia.
Now, do you think Art Briles or Gary Patterson at TCU and the Big 12, do you think they have any gripe at all? Because I heard a couple of interviews with the Big 12 commissioner, and he, honest to goodness, thought that they were going to get 2 teams into the Final Four when they should have been focusing on getting 1. And I know that they're under current NCAA rules, as far as you could throw them, they're not allowed to have a Big 12 championship game because they only have 10 teams, even though they're ironically the Big 12. So I think
doesn't the Big 10 have 12 teams?
Big 10 has 14 teams.
There you have it. Okay, so that's not confusing at all.
It hasn't been the Big 10 since Penn State came in the mid-90s, I want to say, something like that. But anyways, the Big 12, Art Briles is understandably pissed, although I think TCU has the biggest gripe because they were number 3 going into championship game weekend. Beat the hell out of Iowa State at home. They were even taking a knee 4 minutes left to go in the game. And they dropped from 3 to 6. So it can be understand if they drop to 5, but whatever. But then they get leapfrogged by Baylor. And yes, Baylor does have the head-to-head win. Although what does a 61-58 win really signify? We talked about this last week. Yes, a win is a win is a win. But
if it's win or go home, then that wins, and you continue going, and the other guy goes home. It is what it is, Andy. It may have been close, but someone still won.
True, but I would contend that TCU losing to Baylor in a very tight shootout on the road was a lot better win, or excuse me, a lot better loss than Baylor dropping an egg in Morgantown against West Virginia.
Fair enough, but I mean, I don't know. They don't take. They're okay. I have philosophy on things. This has come up with the Texans this week. I want to get mad about situations and judge them from the outside, but there's more people who are capable of doing these jobs than the people who are selected to do these jobs. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that they're probably smarter than me, those elite people who landed these jobs that are so coveted that everyone wants them. And I'm going to go ahead and believe in their decision. And unless there's incontrovertible evidence that they're wrong, then I believe in what they decided.
I think there need to be more people on that committee like Condoleezza Rice rather than some of the people they have on there that are just like ceremonial figureheads. And they have to get rid of this college football selection show every single week, Tuesdays on ESPN, because Gary Danielson went off on this on the DP show. It's made for TV, and I understand that ESPN does own college football and they need programming, but this is stupid and it's unfair to those 12 people to be put on a spot like that because they're not television presenters. They're not television characters. They're on that committee to make analytical, unbiased decisions, and then it was a circus every single week because, Alabama's number 1, Florida State's number 2. Oh, they moved Florida State down to 3, and they haven't lost a game yet. Oh, TCU is up on 3 again. And they need to stop with the rankings every single week. I would be more than okay with just announce it. Just like the NCAA tournament bracket. Just announce it at the end.
Fair enough. I'm cool with that. I mean, I kind of look at the rankings like the same as I do power rankings for football or basketball, that everyone puts so much stock into what their ranking is. And it doesn't matter until the end. So screw it. I don't want to know till the end because it doesn't matter where I'm ranked in the middle of the season or even 2 weeks out. That's what you ranked at the very end. That's it.
And something that's always been my pet peeve is the preseason rankings, and then they run with those every single week. They should not have a college football ranking until mid-September. Let them get a couple of weeks into the season because Florida State, the whole controversy was Florida State being number 1 and then dropping down slightly because they came into the season as number 1. Yes, I do understand that they are the defending champs, but I don't really subscribe to that whole argument that to fall from the number 1 spot after being champion last year, you got to get beat. I mean, a lot of the players that made that Florida State team what it is or what it was when they were jacking fools last year are gone. There's a lot of turnover. It's yes, they brought a lot of players up, but it's basically a completely new team, and they saw that. Florida State is not a number 1 team.
Yeah, no, they aren't. So I just can't put a lot of credence into it before they play a game because you aren't going to have exactly the same team as you had the year before. Things change. The people you play, their teams are going to change. So starting off a new season, you definitely don't need rankings going into it. That's just crazy to me. At least play some football first. Show us what you have.
Yeah, a little Credence Clearwater. Hello.
Hey.
Now, do you like CCR?
I hate John Fogerty's voice.
What?
Hate. It's like nails on a chalkboard. It's like Geddy Lee's voice.
Fine.
I know.
Fine.
Grouchy.
Like
I told
Geddy
you I was
Lee.
grouchy.
You are grouchy. And the whole topic that they need to expand the playoff field, even though the NCAA is contractually locked in to keep it in 4 teams for the next 10 years. Of course, we know how valuable those contracts are. But looking at the top 8 right now, Ole Miss would be number 9, left out. Arizona would be number 10, left out. Kansas State would be number 11, left out. Georgia Tech, number 12, also left out. And I don't think any of those 4 teams would be in any danger of sweeping 3 games and then winning the championship, so that's fine. But Michigan State at 8, I don't think they could win it either. Mississippi State 7, TCU 6, Baylor 5, and then, of course, we have our top 4. I don't mind the top 4 looking at this year because, honestly, I think if Baylor or TCU went up against Bama or Oregon, it'd be fun to watch, but I think the Texas team would get smoked.
Yeah. I mean, if you had, say, for instance, a Bama who happened to lose 2 games, let's say, and they were close, and every other game they blew everybody out, but Bama's at 5, and Bama doesn't make it in, and they're right there and arguably better than the number 3 and 2 team,
Mm-hmm.
then that's whenever you're going to have riots in the streets, is whenever it is a perennial powerhouse that's constantly in a championship game who barely doesn't make it in. Otherwise, the student bodies and the alumni associations of these other universities like Baylor and TCU, sucks to be them, but no one really cares on the whole in society.
Mm. Yeah, so Oregon's only loss in the year was at Eugene against Arizona. They, of course, got vengeance on that in the Big 12 title game. But let's say that big matchup early in the season, Michigan State up at Eugene. Let's say Oregon lost that by last-second field goal. So they have 2 losses, but they are absolutely rolling right now. And then they'll probably get in at like a 5, 6, 7 seed. Then I could see it like that. But right now, teams 5 through 12, I don't really think could hold a candle to the top 4. Top 3. Actually, just top 2, because I think Florida State and Ohio State are both going to get smoked on New Year's Day. I think this is a Bama, Oregon, all the way.
Fair enough. I mean, I would love to see it. It's going to be a fun championship for sure.
Another fun thing about college bowl season, even though it is a little annoying that you have to wait a couple weeks for some college football. It is understandable. Yes, these kids are student athletes, so they have finals. They have to get to finals. Who knew? Yeah,
I'm sure they all take them too.
Yeah, but going to the bowl game does have some sweet perks, and this is from USA Today. Top 5. What are bowl-bound college players getting in their gift packets? Number 5, the Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl, which features Mizzou and my Minnesota Fighting Gophers. The gift pack is a $447 Best Buy gift card and shopping trip, watch, athletic performance shirt. And it really sucks they get no Buffalo Wild Wings. But I suppose...
That does suck.
Oh, is B-Dubs... All right, so it's national, but I feel like it's very heavy regionally to a degree. I may be completely wrong on that.
I think it's everywhere. I've seen it in a million cities. Everywhere I go, I think I've seen a Buffalo Wild Wings.
Well, I know that...
And it's awful. And don't try to tell me anything different.
It is kind of...
Everything on their menu is frozen.
And they have a lot of slick marketing, and I do think that their drinks are kind of overpriced. But they're headquartered up here in the Twin Cities, and I feel like there's one every single corner. So that might just be cognitive dissonance. Number 4, Russell Athletic Bowl pitting Clemson, who is terrible, against Oklahoma. Gift pack is the $447 Best Buy gift card. Why such an odd number? I have no idea. Are they not allowed to get $448 worth of stuff? Because I could see that being an NCAA violation because LOL NCAA.
Well, I could see that.
Yep. They also get a shopping trip, a watch, athletic performance shirt. Wait, what the hell? Anyways, North Carolina, Rutgers, number 3, the Quick Lane Bowl. I have no idea where that is. Don't really care. They also get a $250 Best Buy gift card, Sony headphones, not Beats, a custom-made fat head of each player in their likeness, which I think is the coolest gift out of all these things. I mean, you can keep your electronics, you can keep your gift cards. Boosters can give those whenever they want, but your own fat head to put on your wall? That's pretty awesome.
That is pretty cool.
Number 2, the Military Bowl, Cincinnati versus B Tech, who almost kept Ohio State out of the Final Four for some reason. A gift package, Microsoft Xbox One, Under Armour backpack, Mighty Boom Ball speakers, whatever that is, and a beanie.
A beanie.
A beanie.
Beanies are big, bro.
Oh, how often do you wear a beanie?
You would actually, this is the funny that you bring this up. I recently bought this hat. It's just like a little crocheted hat from Target.
Yep.
But when I wore it one day when I was really cold and somewhere, I don't remember, everyone kept telling me it was really cute. So I wear it all the time. You would be surprised.
And number 1, the Chick-fil-A Bowl, Ole Miss TCU, a $300 Vanilla Visa gift card, which I think are one of those prepaid cards that a lot of terrorist organizations use. Don't quote me on that. Chick-fil-A gift card, so that will go over well with the religious left. Apple TV, which is pretty awesome, a Fossil watch, and a football. So it's a good thing that those kids get a football.
Well, yeah, sure, because they probably haven't ever seen that before.
That's all very exciting. That's via USA Today. I still think the Fathead is so freaking cool, though.
That is pretty cool. I mean, yeah, can't argue with that.
All right, Heisman watch in our last minute of the first segment. We dedicate so little time to it because it's over. It's over,
Yeah.
Johnny. Heisman is Mariota's. I think Amari Cooper goes number 2, mostly because Ohio State just completely bottled up Melvin Gordon, and plus, Melvin Gordon's not even the all-time single game leading rusher anymore. So there's always that. Boom.
So over.
Also, I think if you're a betting person, Trayvon Boykin, quarterback at TCU, who should have had some Heisman consideration this year, I think if he comes back to school, he walks away with it next year at TCU.
Fair enough.
They're going to jack fools in Fort Worth. That's where TCU is, right?
Yes, sir.
Pretty sure.
It sure
all right.
is.
Segment 1 is in the books. Claire is going to go get her beanie on and maybe some Chablis, maybe some mimosas. I don't know. We'll find out. She's definitely not going to smoke. Claire-Vs-Carlson Show, BRB.
Millionaires are being made all season long at DraftKings.com, America's favorite one-week fantasy football site.
1 week fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want.
Got a player who's hurt? No problem.
Injuries won't derail your shot at victory because it's like a new season every week, so you're never stuck with the same players.
Pick your team in minutes, and you could be on your way to winning huge cash.
This season, one listener turned $10 into $5,000. Another turned $2 into $10,000.
And a new millionaire has been crowned nearly every week this season at DraftKings.com.
You could be next. Imagine winning $1 million in one day just playing fantasy football at DraftKings.
Head over to DraftKings.com now and use promo code SPREAKER to play free in the $10 million Fantasy Football World Championships. DraftKings.com, bigger events, bigger winnings, bigger millionaires. Enter SPREAKER now at DraftKings.com. DraftKings.com, that is DraftKings.com.
Welcome back to segment 2. I just made kind of an off-color joke. Claire was not amused over the break, but you know what happens. Claire, what'd you do during the break? Time travel? Not have a cigarette? All right.
Both of those things?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. Yeah, everything.
Segment 2, we are NFL heavy, but first off, I wanted to get to one of my pet peeves. All right, so ESPN, huge news organization, right? But they have this really bad habit of not giving credit to their sources when non-ESPN people break news. And 2 incidents of this happened this week. Jay Glazer, the boss over at Fox, UFC guy, NFL Insider, broke the Manziel starting story. And then ESPN just ran it, did not give Glazer credit. Cowherd on a show even pointed out, why aren't we giving Glazer credit? He broke the story. What is your take on ESPN not doing that? And if you don't think it's a big deal, do you think people breaking news, I mean, how important is it to give credit where credit's due when stories are being broke a couple seconds apart?
I think it's probably, if you're just some random blogger, whatever, everyone knows you didn't break the story, so that's just... It'd be cool if you credited the person, but it doesn't really matter because Jay Glazer doesn't care if random blogger gives him credit. But if you're a competing news outlet, then yeah, you should give credit. I mean, ESPN has, I can't think of a good word, but they've discredited, there you go, themselves quite a bit with the way that they sensationalize individuals and harp on stories that are non-stories that don't relate to sports, but societal issues or whatever. And the fact that they get called out to the carpet, that they don't credit people whenever someone who is obviously created a business for himself in Jay Glazer in this situation and spent years making these relationships, getting stories, breaking news, and you're not going to say that you got the story from him. I mean, you're still using his information. So what's it going to hurt if you admit that you didn't get the story from him?
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that ESPN should be bigger than, and I don't know why they don't. Or they'll run it where, like, Mort or Adam Schefter has just confirmed that Johnny Manziel will be starting. And it just seems like something that's so beneath them, and it goes against, like, journalistic ethics and everything like that. And Bleacher Report does get a lot of flack, sometimes justifiably so, but they almost always give credit to the person who broke their story when they're writing their own SEO bait articles. So that if Bleacher Report can do something like that, why can't ESPN?
Well, I think ESPN thinks that they're better than everybody else. And they don't ever want to give the impression that someone else did something, even one little story. They did something faster or better than them. And then, though, whenever in this world of social media, people get to talking about it and realize what happened here, then they look worse. And I don't think that they care. I don't think that they care about their negative publicity. I think they believe any publicity is good publicity. And to me, as a logically thinking member of society, I'm a logical thinker. Don't be mean.
I'm kidding.
I know. I'm being sensitive. I'm sorry. I won't cry. I don't know. Whenever you find out about it, you just think, well, that's one less bit of credibility they have in my eyes. But then more people may watch because ESPN becomes in the news and people keep hearing about it, and then they maybe pay more attention. I don't know.
It does stink because ESPN, like we said, even with college football, is a monopoly, and everyone just turns to that because that's what they've always done. Something that annoys me a little bit is on ESPN Radio, one of their app commercials, and then they talk about ESPN now, always, and forever, or something to that effect, paraphrasing it. But it's like, I don't know, forever's a long time, man. That's a lot of hubris to be putting out there that, Fox Sports 1, NBCSN, CBS Sports aren't going to eventually catch up to you.
Yeah. They're not infallible. And the more that an organization begins to believe it's infallible, that's, I think, the weaker that they become as an organization.
Especially when, one of their headline stories was, "Is LeBron regressing? ? Has he peaked?" And this is after the Cavs had just won like 9 games in a row.
Oh, well, sure. He peaked. Whatever. Dumbasses.
Also, the second story was Melvin Gordon announcing that he was going pro this week on the Dan Patrick Show. And then in the afternoon, ESPN ran a, "This just in, Melvin Gordon going pro." And then it's like, we've known about this for hours. And it was on Dan Patrick, one of your former employees' shows, by the way. Yeah.
Who my former? Oh, on ESPN. Yes, gotcha. Yes.
You remember Dan Patrick. Come on.
No, I know who Dan Patrick is. I love Dan Patrick. Him and Keith, that was like the best Sports Center, I think. No, I'm lying. Whoever with Craig Kilborn.
Craig
Kilborn
Kilborn
was the best.
And I don't know. I was kind of like Kenny Mayne, even though a lot of people didn't. I like
Kenny Mayne. He's still on now. He's been on recently because Neil Everett got sick. Yeah. Oh. Neil Everett had the mumps.
Oh, crazy little tidbit. Kenny Mayne played college football at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, right? And he was a backup quarterback. Do you know who the starting quarterback at the time was at UNLV?
Who?
Randall Cunningham.
Well, looky here.
That's pretty awesome. Me thinks that you probably had 2 different offenses for Cunningham and then Kenny Mayne, but
I would guess, but you never know.
Someone who is not going to be playing Sunday is Cam Newton, and he was in a car accident this week right outside of Carolina Panther Stadium. 2 transverse fractures in his back. Does not sound like it is a major issue. The other driver, it was a 2-car accident. The other driver ran a stop sign, and he should be okay as well. And Cam Newton, high spirits, thank God a lot. And something that was really scary when the news first came out, and this is the bad part of social media, the 24/7 news outlets, because there was a lot of reporters Not the reporters on the scene per se. I think they all did a great job. But national reporters, there was a lot of speculation going on, a lot of rumor mongering instead of getting the facts right, as it were. Is that just me, or does it seem like that way to you too?
Well, I wasn't on social media like when the news broke.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I first saw it whenever it had been clarified that he had not suffered life-threatening injuries,
Mm-hmm.
because apparently that is what had been reported by some outlets, that he had suffered life-threatening injuries. And so when I got there, that had been clarified, that no, that is not the case. And so, I don't know. Yeah, it's old. It's old that everybody has to be the first to break the story.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you are first to break the story and you don't get credit for it, well, it's such just a part of the way media is in this day and age. It's a mess.
My favorite thing is that like some outside blogger, might have been a former member of like a major news organization, but is on like the periphery of things, will just float out a rumor, as it were, and then if it's correct, he'll somewhat get the credit. If not, yeah, whatever, he's on the periphery. I think that happened with the LeBron to Cleveland thing, as like 3 days before it happened. I can't remember the guy's name. He did have some credibility, but he just put it out there. And then it just floated for 3 days, and then eventually it came through. But the fact that I don't remember his name,
right?
it really speaks to that, yeah. But throughout it all, like it was like a minute by minute, second by second thing. They're showing Cam on a stretcher. There's a lot of speculation there. Then Cam was sitting up, and he had that big smile on his face in that famous photo now. So everyone's thinking, oh, he's going to be okay. Is he going to play Sunday? I don't know. And then the fantasy football people came in as like, well, Derek Anderson should be a high upside QB2 coming up. And I get that fantasy football is in a vacuum, and like something like this impacts fantasy football just as much as Cam got an on the field injury. But just after actual humanity issues come into play like this, or like when Adrian Peterson, that whole thing went down, and then fantasy guys were all like, well, McKinnon is a high upside number one, Asiata if you're desperate, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, just give it time.
Yeah. Right.
Give it time. It's too soon.
Well, there's just some things in journalism that are just annoying. And as you were talking, I thought of like 3 different examples. But I think that, like, for instance, one of the examples I thought of was the night that, well, something happened with Ray Rice, and it was like a major momentum shifting sort of thing in the story. Rovell comes out and starts saying about how that affects financials on different things. And you're like, hold up, dude, wait. I think it was when the video first came out. You're like, you just watch this video and you're talking about the financials. I mean, we do lose a lot of the part of, hey, these are people, they have families, they have lives, they have, things that we all have, and they just get treated like a commodity because they put themselves in a situation to be a commodity. But do we have to ignore the fact that they're humans as well? I don't think we do.
True that. Something else ignoring the fact that he is human, Jadeveon Clowney has definitely shown that he is human. And I'm just going to buckle up and let you go, baby. But microfracture surgery is out for a while. Might not be ready for the start of 2015 season. Yeah.
I've been really conflicted on this because whenever the draft happened, I was like, okay, I'm sucking it up. He's the most talented player available. I don't trust him. I don't trust his work ethic, but we're just going to see how it goes. And then, of course, he comes in. He has to have sports hernia surgery. His knee has to get scoped. He gets a concussion. There's a couple of games and he gets hurt again. I mean, the fact of the matter is from what I understand, there's a very strong chance that this knee issue goes back to his playing days at South Carolina. And he's been playing on it at a pretty high level. But whenever he had the lateral meniscus tear here in Houston, that exacerbated the microfracture issue. And so people are blaming the Texans organization, the medical staff. And that is, we don't know. We think we know. People think they know. They don't know. So they're blaming that. They're blaming, of course, the GM. They're blaming Jadeveon Clowney because he needs to change his tampon and man up and play and yada, yada, yada. I'm not quite sure where the blame lies yet. And me thinking logically through situations like this, I know doesn't make for good radio, but I'm not ready to pin the blame on any one entity here yet. It's an unfortunate circumstance. Maybe they could have drafted someone else, but at the same time, a lot of players come into the draft or in free agency or whatever, and they do not let the team they're negotiating with, their physicians, look at them. They only go with their own physicians or their former organization's physicians. And like Ed Reed didn't allow the Texans to look at him before he signed with the Texans. Jadeveon Clowney didn't allow the Texans to look at him per his agent's instructions. Fact of the matter is we don't know. We don't know where the ball was dropped here, and it just sucks. It sucks.
And I didn't know a whole lot about microfracture surgery before this happened, but it is that's scary stuff. I mean, that is something where it's really going to test Clowney's work ethic coming back. Because honestly, after reading about microfracture surgery and all the things that go into it, I would rather personally have an ACL if I was an athlete.
Yes, you would. And the fact of the matter is they broke down the numbers here on local radio. A sports medicine guy who works in Houston basically said that in the modern NFL age, there have been 61 players who have had this surgery. Only 9 have returned to play 5 or more years in the NFL. At the same time, you have to look at that like, well, the average NFL player plays less than 4 years. So how many of those were that guy anyway, you know?
And
how
also,
many were going to play?
How old were the player when they got it? Yep.
Exactly.
What do you think about Gossard Cherilus, who also had this microfracture surgery, tackle for the Colts, calling out Clowney?
What good's it going to do? I mean, he's just trying to sound like a tough guy. What's your point? What are you trying to get across? Everyone's different. Everyone recovers from things differently. Of course, I'm going to be the optimist, but you can't just automatically say it's going to go horribly and he's never going to have his explosion back and never blah, 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 blah. Robert Smith, the running back, also had the same surgery, and he said he had his most productive years after having the surgery.
Oh, yes, he did.
So, I'm just saying, I mean, every player is different.
All right, so if you had the opportunity to do it all over again, like you had the number 1 pick, Claire, you are the GM of the Texans right now, number 1 pick all over again, what would you do?
I would have done what I would have done in May, and still I would have taken Manziel first.
Oh.
I would have done it.
All right, so just close the door on Clowney, moving on to Manziel, since he is obviously near and dear to your heart, being an Aggie fan, getting his first start Sunday versus the Bengals in the most exciting Cincinnati Bengals 1 o'clock game in history, mostly because Manziel's starting. Yes. I feel like with Manziel and Favre, I feel like there should always be banjo music going on in the background. You know, like how Benny Hill always had that.
Because they're like Southern bad boy sort of guys. And
and it's Fran Tarkenton, too. Just watching his highlights from back in the day, former Vikings, former Giant quarterback who also improvised. Plays a lot like Manziel. A lot of people's comparisons. And just like the whole improvising, wild, anything's going to happen, Duke's a hazard almost thing. It's going to be fun.
Well, yeah, and a former NFL player who's on local radio here made the comparison that, you know, this guy could probably be not unlike a Brett Favre, where it may take him a couple of years to become the disciplined player that his franchise needs. But if he's able to do that and get to that level, then he can be that dangerous threat. As it is now, the fact that he skipped, on Tuesday night before it was up in the air whether or not Hoyer was going to start or Manziel a couple weeks ago. He was at a Cavs game, and apparently the organization made a decision based on that. I don't know. It just sort of indicates that, you know, he's still immature. He still has cockiness oozing out of his pores and whatnot. But it's going to be exciting. I mean, regardless. And all the Texas media outlets here, they've all switched from the Green Bay game, and they will be airing on Fox the Cleveland game this weekend. So Texas gets Manziel.
Well, I understand that the NFL is this whole, you have to be a student in the classroom and you have to grind tape 24 hours a day to get ahead in this league, just because the teams are there's so much parity in the league. But do you think that, all right, so hear me out. Do you think this is a case? So Tony Dungy, when he was coaching back in the day, and he learned from Chuck Noll, and most of the time his guys weren't burning the midnight oil. They were home to see their families, have dinner with them because that was important to them. They got all their work done when they were at the office. But now you have coaches who are sleeping in the offices, watching tape 24 hours a day just to get that slight little edge. But Dungy obviously had success. And,
Well, yeah.
And there are players that, like Peyton Manning, who do live in the film room and do all that other stuff. But do you think there could be a case for Johnny in quasi that same fashion where he gets his work done when he's at the office, his free time is his free time, he shows up Sunday, is a gamer, and just balls out? Do you think that could happen?
If he is playing for a franchise that is losing despite his efforts, and he's not there and other people are there, it's going to be an issue. I mean, you look at someone who had a lot to overcome, like a Drew Brees. Mark Brunell, who played with Brees, said that in the off season, Drew Brees is there at 9 p.m. on a Friday night. And Brunell's finally like, look, dude, I got to get out of here. But Drew Brees did that early in his career to overcome his limitations. And
from coming from Purdue, yes.
Yeah. Well, and his height and whatever else
and his birthmark
you want to put on him. It's a limitation. So, I mean, of course, that made the team want to rally behind him because he is obviously putting in every bit of effort. Now, if you can win and your team can win despite the fact you're not putting in that effort, then more power to you. But if you're not winning, you better be there.
I just think Kyle Shanahan's going to pull out all the stops these last 3 games because he's got a shot at an NFL head coaching job. There's going to be a lot of turnover in the ranks again. And I think with him, Manziel, showing what he did with RG3 in 2012, I think Shanahan is going to go balls to the wall, and Manziel is going to be a lot of fun to watch these last 3 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, may as well go out there and sling it and run it and scramble and be insane because, honestly, they've already said, what do we have to lose? Let's try the rookie we haven't really seen play all that much. So, may as well let him try and do his thing and see what happens.
I believe the words you're looking for are low.
Low.
Wrapping up this segment really quick, offensive coordinator who's not having as good of a time with his quarterback is Aaron Kromer, offensive coordinator to the Bears, and he had to apologize to the Bears offensive personnel this week for leaking to NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport that the Bears are experiencing buyer's remorse with Jay Cutler. And Kromer teared up during sorry, this is funny. Kromer teared up during the apology. Cutler was seen SMH shaking my head as Cutler is wont to do. Oh, also ESPN confirmed via Mort and Schefter that Ian Rappaport did indeed break this story, and Kromer was the insider on this. But what are your thoughts on an actual NFL coach leaking to the media?
Dude, that's so bad.
You're fired. I'm surprised that he's not gone right now.
Yeah. I mean, immediately, you need to get out of here. You're undermining us from the inside. Yeah, go, bye, later. It's basically corporate sabotage on an NFL level.
I get that Kromer is probably like nearly 99% going to be gone the offseason, but how can Cutler, Marshall, Forte, how can these guys trust him these final 3 weeks as Trestman and the Bears try and save face for this terrible 5-8 season?
They can't. So basically, go ahead and bring Cutler to Houston and bring him with a real QB guru and let him be the Bay he's supposed to be.
I didn't know Romeo worked very well with quarterbacks.
Oh, stop.
Stap. S-T-A-P-H. We need to stop and take a break. The second segment is in the books. We'll be coming back with a fun little game. Hall of Fame or not Hall of Fame. Also, Jaguars fans are jerks. That's a tease, I guess. And make our Week 15 picks. Claire-Vs-Carlson Show, BRB.
Hello?
For daily conversations with the players, coaches, and contributors that make this game great.
Regulators, mount up. We're coming.
Football Convos. Visit footballconvos.com or visit us at iTunes.
And we are back for the final segment of the Claire-Vs-Carlson Show. Many things you put in your ears is one of them. Claire and I were just talking off air about Will Ferrell's character on SNL, the voice inoculation guy. I can't control the volume of my voice.
That guy.
That would probably be... Would you rather your voice be too loud or too soft?
Too loud, because I hate having to go back or be in a conversation where, what did you say? What was that? Sorry, I didn't hear you. I would way rather be too loud.
Well, you are, so I guess you're used to it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Boom.
I always get told, shh, shh.
Oh, as a side story, I've been emailing and cold calling a bunch of people to line up guests for my new show, Football Convos, at footballconvos.com, which is a daily conversation with the players, coaches, and contributors that make this game great. I don't know if you heard of it. Gotten some good response, recorded a couple episodes, have a bunch of episodes in the pipeline, but apparently Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco, his website's email is not functioning anymore.
Oh, well, what does that mean, do you think?
Well, the domain or the email must be just offline or
expired.
Yeah, because it's annoying. Because I emailed them like 4 days ago, and then when email doesn't go through, the Gmail mail sub delivery system brings it back up every single day. So I've been looking at it. Yeah, so it's kind of annoying.
Well, I'm sorry.
I don't know what me and Chad would have talked about. Probably river dancing and Carson Palmer, and probably not headbutts. I don't think I would bring that up.
Pretty sure y'all would have found something to converse about.
Speaking of conversing, Jaguar fans are jerks, and this is on Deadspin. Dickhead Jaguars fan cancels Texas fans' plane tickets. The gist of the article is that a Houstonian couple, I'm sure very lovely people, bought a couple of plane tickets to Jacksonville so that they could watch Houston eventually beat the Jacksonville Jaguars last Sunday. And he was so excited that he posted a screenshot of his and his wife's boarding passes on the Traveling Texas Facebook page, and Jaguar fan, enter. So this one dude, I'm not even going to use his name, decided to take that information onto Southwest, it looks like, and cancel their flight. So, yeah. But luckily, the Traveling Texans Facebook page rallied the troops, and then they got the lovely Houstonian couple, Carlos and his girlfriend, Alice, to Jacksonville, and they had a lovely time watching Houston beat the hell out of the Jaguars. Your take. You say the Jacksonville fans aren't all jerks.
No, I would say most of them are not. I would say the vast majority are really cool. Some of my favorite fans for opposing fan bases are Jaguars fans. And the fact that this one individual is being made to represent the whole fan base is dumb, because what happened whenever Jaguars fans, whom I follow many on Twitter, and we talk, like we don't just follow and ignore each other, we actually talk. And these Jaguar fans were irate. They went out and they found these people. They invited them to come and hang out with them and tailgate, and the couple did. And my friends were tweeting during the tailgate. They said things like, these Texans are so nice. And things like, they were genuinely pissed that this guy did this. And it just, that one person cannot be indicative of the entire fan base, and they're not. And people need to understand that. I think that the Jaguars have a very lovely fan base. Yes, they have their flaws. They're insecure, like a horrible organization's fan base should be insecure. And they get defensive whenever you call them out on tarps and whatever else.
Well, they get defensive, but their team doesn't.
That's bad. But the fact of the matter is once you get beyond that, you realize that they're actually really funny on the whole, and they're really good people. And I would love to go hang out with my Jaguars friends in real life at a game. Love it.
Moral of the story,
that would be awesome.
One-off guy is a douche. Jaguars fans, not jerks overall.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
Also, someone who is not a jerk, some of these guys who are either in or not in the Hall of Fame. Claire has a new game for me as we have some trivia. And what's the basis of the game, Claire? Why don't you explain?
All we're going to do
Yes.
is I'm going to go through a list of players.
Mm-hmm.
And you are going to tell me if this player is in the Hall of Fame or if they're not in the Hall of Fame.
Simple enough. And as always, for a correct answer, we have R. And for a wrong answer, we have...
Hello.
Thank you, Herm. All right. Hit me up, lady.
Okay. First off, let's go with... Who is going to be the first one? Let's go with Daryl Johnson. Is he in the Hall of Fame?
Daryl Johnston. The fullback.
The fullback from the Cowboys.
I'm going to say no.
You are correct, sir.
Dang. Even though he deserves a lot of credit for most Emmett's yards, not going to lie. I mean, they had a great offensive line, but Moose was leading the way on a lot of those.
Were you aware that they did not have a category for fullback for the Pro Bowl until late in his career, and they began the category simply for him so he could get into the Pro Bowl?
Oh, that's nice. Although
Wasn't that nice?
I think they stretch it a little bit too far because, I mean, Mike Tolbert made a freaking Pro Bowl last year as a fullback. Mike Tolbert isn't a fullback. He's just a halfback that's really fat.
Right. He's a bowling ball.
That is all.
That's
Mike Tolbert's never run blocked a day in his life. Come on.
Yeah. Nah.
Anyways, proceed.
Nah, bro. Nah.
He's not as fast as Jaworski Lane, though.
Jaworski Lane is rotund.
The fact that Jaworski Lane wore number 11 at Texas A&M was not slimming on him. You would think the 1 and the 1 would help? No.
No.
You should just wear 88.
Nah, bro. Coulda. Shoulda.
I'm a big number
Didn't.
snob, sorry.
Oh, I didn't realize you were.
Next.
Curious. Next up, John Stallworth.
John Stallworth, yes, relatively recently.
He is in the Hall of Fame. You are correct. It wasn't that
During-
recently. It was 2003?
That's pretty recently for
sorry.
me.
2002.
It's pretty recently for me.
Oh, what else? Fine. Next up, let's go with one Dan Rooney.
Dan Rooney, owner of the Steelers. I'm going to say yes.
You are correct.
Dang.
Dan Rooney.
Also former Irish ambassador for the United States.
There you have it. Next up, let's go with one Charles Haley.
Charles Haley. I'm pretty sure he is. All right, so played for the Cowboys, played for the 49ers. I think he's the only guy to have 5 Super Bowl rings, which is nuts.
Yes, that's correct. But the rest of it's not correct, except the part about the Hall of Fame is not correct. So sorry.
Oh,
He's not in the Hall of Fame.
I was talking out loud. I didn't even have a chance to answer.
Yes, you did. You said the very first thing.
I said I think.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, fine.
Semantics, really?
Fine.
You need to get at least one wrong, so quit trying to
Fine.
be a know-it-all.
Fine. I'm surprised he's not.
Yeah, so are a lot of people. But there you have it.
Wow.
Let's go with a guy who played down in the trenches and is part of a huge bloodline in the NFL, one Bruce Matthews.
In first ballot.
There you have it. Very good.
How can he not be in?
I don't know.
I mean, a long time stalwart. We thought Matt Khalil was going to be Bruce Matthews.
That's so cute. Yeah. No.
Yes, bathe in my tears.
There you
Actually,
have
I'm not
it.
even crying that much because even though he's given up the most sacks for a left tackle in the NFL, Teddy's still looking pretty damn good.
He's doing all right. He's something. Let's go with other side of the ball, secondary, Rod Woodson.
Rod Woodson is in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, he is.
Ding.
Yes, he is. This game is kind of blah. It's not that exciting.
You are.
Okay, how about Ken Anderson, former QB Bengals?
Ken Anderson, the original West Coast quarterback for Bill Walsh when he was offense coordinator there. I'm going to say no.
You would be correct.
Yeah. Get
Now I'm
some.
bored.
Get some. He probably would have been in if he would have won one of the Super Bowls, but Bill Walsh was in San Francisco at that time. So, yep. Bye, Felicia.
John Lynch.
John Lynch. Let's see. When did he retire?
I don't know. You tell me.
Relatively recently. I want to say he retired in like 06 in Denver. I'm going to say no.
Well, I guess you're correct.
Yes. I think he'll get in. He's got to be up soon, right?
Gotta be soon. Currently, I'm trying to find out whenever he retired. Bear with me. I'm looking this up right now. He retired in, oh my gosh, where is it? He was drafted in 93. Okay, he retired in 2008 as a New England Patriot.
Oh, he did?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, he retired as a Bronco, but he was last on the Patriots.
It must have been like a training camp sort of deal.
Yeah, well, 9-time Pro Bowl, 4-time All-Pro, Super Bowl champion, defensive back of the year. Yeah, I mean, he's been everything. So, pretty sure he'll be on the ballot soon. All
right, so last year must have been his first year on the ballot, and obviously didn't get in, but I think he'll get in eventually.
There you have it.
He deserves.
Okay, well, yeah, I think he deserves.
She is.
Let's go with
Ed Reed.
Oh.
Not in. There we go.
I hate him so much.
Why?
He makes me want to cry.
Why?
He hurt my feelings when he came here. He was a D word. I almost said it. 4-letter D word.
I mean, it's fine. I mean, he just wanted one last paycheck before he got his 2 tickets to paradise.
He wanted to screw somebody over. I mean, honestly, that's what he did. So, screw him. I don't like him. Messing with my team. Not cool, bro. Not cool. Okay. Let's see here. Who am I going to go? Oh, okay. Here's one. Here's a good one. Elvin Bethea.
Elvin Bethea? I'm going to say yes, because that's such a random name that you would have to look on a list of obscure Pro Football Hall of Famers to be in.
Well, he's not that obscure to me, but because he did play for the Oilers for a gazillion years, like 15 years straight. But yes, he is in the Hall.
Yes. What is he, a kicker?
No, he's a defensive end.
Is he?
Yes.
Yeah, well, the more you know. Now, what era was he? Was he...
he played from 68 to 83. He played during Bum. He probably left a couple of years after Bum did, I guess.
Oh, crazy.
Mm-hmm. He played a long time, huh? 68 to 83 sounds like a really crazy long time when you just see it.
All right. Well, what's the score? How many questions we got left?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 9. We have one more question, and you have gotten all except for one correct.
Boom. All right.
Let's go with one name everyone knows well. Former NFL Commissioner Paul Tagliabue. Is he in the Hall?
No.
Huh. I guess you're right.
Yes.
So you got 90%.
Because I remember, if I remember right, that's a big to-do about him not being in. Although I don't think he did anything that was very Hall of Fame worthy. Like Pete Rozelle obviously grew the game. I think Tagliabue just kind of let it ride.
Okay, so earlier you asked me what Ratchet means. Yep. So is that a real question?
No.
Do you really need to know?
No, I understand.
Oh, I looked at...
Claire, I was born and raised on the streets.
By a Ratchet?
I know these streets.
But I think that Urban Dictionary has a really funny definition.
Lay it on me.
Ratchet is if Ghetto and Hot Shitty Mess had a baby, and that baby had no father and became a stripper, then made a sex tape with an athlete, then became a reality star. That is Ratchet.
Oh, well, there you go.
I liked that definition. I really wanted to read it on air.
Something that's a little ratchet is my Week 14 picks. Claire made a little bit of headway. She gained 2 more games on me. Currently, since we both picked Arizona last night, she is up 22-8, and I am at 18-12. And reminder of the stakes, the loser of this when we reset back in Week 13 has to hold up a sandwich board in one of those dog-shaming pictures, except it has to say, like, so when I win, Claire has to hold up a sandwich board saying, like, Andy Carlson is the greatest person ever, a philanthropist, a man about town, a real Renaissance man, a sultry, olive oily voice that is not annoying at all, something that you can just lull you to sleep. Except
So you want me to lie?
Because he's too interesting. No, I mean, it'll be 100%. Just let it roll. I mean, just be honest with yourself in your assessment. Let's get an assessment of these Week 15 games. Like I mentioned, we both picked Arizona last night for the W. First of the noon Sunday games, Pittsburgh at the suddenly not terrible Atlanta Falcons.
Pittsburgh.
I have Atlanta at home, and as always, hand to God, my picks are already in. Washington at the New York Football Giants. Who you got?
Ooh. This is awful. This game's going to stink.
Yes.
I'm going to go with New York because Washington's just a train wreck.
I have the Giants as well. Colt McCoy cleared to start on Sunday. Woohoo. Also, going back to Art Briles a little bit, I have this conspiracy theory that Jay Gruden is obviously going to be gone. RG3 will remain. I don't think they'll pick up his fifth-year option, but I would not put it by Daniel Snyder to throw like $1 bajillion at Art Briles, who is kind of over the whole Baylor thing, to come to Washington. RG3 and Baylor, this mother of a Lego.
Okay.
Miami Dolphins, who also are probably going to have a head coaching opening, at the New England Patriots. Who you got?
New England.
Yeah, I got the Patriots as well. And it's not on the strength of the Patriots being such a better football team, especially at home against the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are just absolutely scared because of their Week 16 matchup versus the Minnesota Fighting Vikings. Just IMO.
Yeah, that took a lot of analysis on your
Oakland Raiders at Kansas City Chiefs. Who you got at historic Arrowhead?
I guess Kansas City.
Oakland played really good last week in San Francisco. I'm going to take them in an upset at Arrowhead. Yes, this is happening. Booyah. Houston at Indy. Who you got?
Obviously. I got to go full homer.
And I'm going the Colts at home, where the Texans have number one.
Yeah, no, they haven't. And I predicted at the beginning of the season that the Texans would win for the first time in Indianapolis this year, and I'm standing by my prediction.
Are the Texans still in the playoff hunt?
Yep.
Oh, there you go. Jacksonville at Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Yeah. Green Bay at Buffalo in a sneaky tough game.
I'm still going to pick Green Bay.
I have Green Bay as well. The Buffalo, their defense is legit. I mean, they make Peyton Manning look mortal last week.
Well, Peyton Manning has looked mortal the past couple of weeks, and yeah.
Yeah.
The rest of his team has had to pick up his slack.
Fortunately, the end is near for Peyton, and it's going really, really fast because a lot of those passes, he still has the brain of an elite quarterback, but the arm and accuracy is going fast.
Yeah, fast.
Tampa at Carolina, led by Derek Anderson. Who you got?
Gosh. Tampa? I don't know. I guess Tampa.
I got Carolina home. I think they rally, especially coming off that big win in New Orleans. Now, the nice and terrible thing is down the stretch of all these division games, Week 17 is all division games, but 15, 16, 17 as well, except when Tampa and Carolina have to play because the NFC South is terrible.
Awful.
Yeah. A game that got slightly less awful because of somebody starting. Cincinnati at Cleveland. Who you got?
I'm going to go with Cleveland here.
Damn straight Johnny Manziel is going
Johnny effing football.
to tear things up. He's going to tear up this league like he texted
Johnny
to...
effing NFL.
There you go.
Johnny effing playoff. Could happen.
New York Jets at Tennessee Titans.
The Titans are a hot freaking mess, imploding from the inside out. The Jets aren't much better, but I'm going to go with the Jets, I guess.
Dang it. I thought I was able to to get a nice steal on my own, but I got the Jets as well. They actually played very well against the Vikings, and that wasn't an indictment of how the Vikings were playing. I think the Jets literally put up some very good effort. Geno Smith did not look terrible, which was kind of, frankly, a little annoying. So I got the Jets on the road as well. Denver at San Diego. Who you get?
This one might be a tough game. Let's be honest. I mean, San Diego can show up when they want to. Denver has been not as strong offensively as they had been previously. I think I'm going to go with San Diego in this matchup.
Ooh, I got Denver on the road. Peyton is slipping, except that run game. C.J. Anderson, Jawan Thompson. Who knew? Who knew that if you run the ball, especially late in the season, going to the playoffs, that you can have success? Who knew? I don't know. Minnesota at Detroit. You know who I got.
I do. And I think I'm going to go with Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit at home. It's really annoying that they're not terrible at the end of the season like the Detroit Lions usually are.
Like they're supposed to be.
Yeah, I think a lot of credit goes to Jim Caldwell and how he's refocused that team with largely the same personnel as Caldwell had. And
you mean as Schwartz?
Yeah, Schwartz. That's my bad. But I'm very excited to watch a fully healthy Megatron versus a fully healthy Xavier Rhodes. I realize that they're not going to be Xavier's not going to be following him around the field. That's not Zimmer's MO on defense. But that Xavier, we drafted you to cover Megatron, and I'm looking forward to that little matchup. San Francisco at Seattle. Who you got?
Seattle. San Francisco's a hot friggin' mess.
Yeah. Harbaugh, Yee Gon. Kaepernick might not be too much longer. There's a reason that your contract was a pay as you go, like a track phone there, Colin. Dallas at Philly. Sunday Night Football.
This game has potential. And if Dallas wins, then I'm a believer in Dallas, but I don't think that they'll win. I think Philly will take it again.
I think Dallas keeps this interesting. I think DeMarco Murray has another great day. I don't think that Dallas's defense is half as good as Seattle's, but I just think in this wonky sort of NFC East thing, they just get it done. I got Dallas winning on the road, keeping their playoff chances alive, because weird thing is Dallas could lose this game and end up 11-5 still and miss the playoffs, which is nuts.
Yeah. Well, but someone from the NFC South is going to be there. So, hey.
And they're going to win a game. You know that whoever wins the NFC South is going to win on Wild Card Weekend at home.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And it's fair because those are the parameters. Those are the rules. Booyah. And then they'll get slaughtered at Green Bay or something. New Orleans at Chicago on Monday Night Football. Who at?
I don't trust either of the teams, and I think that New Orleans will probably win just because Chicago is too conflicted right now.
Yeah, I got New Orleans at home too, on the road, because both teams are a hot mess. And I mean, New Orleans and Chicago were probably two of people's maybe not first Super Bowl choices, but they were up there. So this has got to be an extremely disappointing season for both of them.
Yeah. So crappy
right.
game.
Well, we ran a little overtime since we're jamming this all into 1 hour. Your late night Friday happy hour, Claire. So do you have any parting words of wisdom? Have anything exciting going on in your life?
Not really. I'm boring.
Kind of are.
I got nothing.
I'm just kidding, Claire. You live an exciting life. Are you going to Texas A&M's bowl game?
No.
Where is it?
It's in Memphis. It is on a Monday, and it is at 1:00 in the afternoon.
Like ESPN 8, the Ocho.
The Ocho. Pretty much, yeah. Jason Bateman's calling it, and it should be exciting for everybody except for everybody. And I did have Advocare Texas Bowl tickets because I was hoping that A&M would be the SEC team, but alas, Texas is playing Arkansas. So I'm selling them for a hefty profit on StubHub. If anyone is interested, go find my tickets.
No, where's the Advocare Texas Bowl played?
In Houston.
Oh.
At Reliant.
Oh. That's pretty sweet.
Or Energy, sorry.
No, it's Reliant.
It's always going to be Reliant. Energy is owned by Reliant, so whatever.
Yeah, it's the same thing. And who is A&M playing in the thing?
West Virginia.
So you're not even excited to go see Dana Holgerson versus Kevin Sumlin in Memphis and have some ribs while you're at it.
And Jake Spavital, no, I'm not excited. I could give two craps, honestly. So what else? I'll probably watch it, but well, I say that, but I have to work. It's a Monday, and my job is open, and I have to go to work. So screw you for making my team's bowl game on a Monday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's bull.
On ESPN at the Ocho. I have a bunch of Christmas parties coming up. I of course, am making egg rolls because I'm that sort of stereotype.
I was going to say, you're just like feeding the stereotype.
But I make them so good.
I'm about to say, oh man, but you love those egg rolls. Okay, well, that's cool.
I make them so good. So I'm going to stuff my face over these next couple weekends and then also try and work my ass off in the gym, try and make up for eating all those egg rolls by myself. Also, shrimp cocktail. Shrimp cocktail just goes with Christmas and New Year's. Yeah. Isn't that thing? Shrimp cocktail, oysters, come on.
I guess. I don't know.
You're not a big seafood person?
No, I love seafood. But I didn't realize that it was like something that was related to the holidays. That's cool if it is.
Come on, Claire. Crab legs. I mean, this is the time to go big.
My dad used to do that. He would do seafood for Christmas, but I thought it was just him. Maybe not.
Maybe we're kindred spirits. All right, so we are out of here. Claire-Vs-Carlson Show, part of the Late Night Sports Radio Network, latenightsportsradio.com. She's at the ClaireBear23 on Twitter. I'm at Andy Carlson Show. I have way too many Twitter handles. We can be found at Claire-Vs-Carlson on YouTube. Oh, please give me a break, Mrs. Claire Bear Swagger.
Hey, I have two.
Hi. Yeah, that we know of. All right, so we are out of here. Everyone, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the Heisman ceremony. Spoiler alert, Mariota's winning. And, we're going. Say goodnight, Claire.
Good night, Claire.
The music was created and produced by Deeb. To hear more of his tracks, check out soundcloud.com/Deeb.